Alright guys, welcome to National Motorsport in Zanzi. We've got Ashik, Emil, CJ, Mr. Demo Works. Thank you for your time today guys. So the question today that I've got for you guys is, why rallycross guys?
Okay, firstly, I haven't raced per se yet. I don't know if you guys remember the E36 build with Ernest. So that's how I got dragged into the whole thing. So we built that car up for rallycross, and then I met these guys, and from there, just spectating it alone was like enough to draw me in. And I'm at the point where I want to build a car, but at the moment I'm kind of getting to it.
Yes.
So that's basically where I ended up. So I'm basically just a mechanic for most of the guys that's on the track.
It won't be for long.
We'll see. We'll see. So just listening to them and watching what they do and listening to the engine tones and all of that type of stuff. And
blood pumping.
yes, it gives you, you know what, I call it theory training. So I'm kind of doing my theory class now before entering rallycross. So yeah, I want to start with a fresh painting, and then we'll see. I'm leaning towards a 4-cylinder. They all like, no, buy a 6. You must have a 6-cylinder.
You have to join the crew. Look at this behind you.
So we'll see where I end up.
Emil, I'm gonna jump to you now. I never expected you to get into a BMW. I've known you as a Honda guy for the longest time.
The thing is, like, I actually started rallycross in 2019. So I did rallycross a few times with my Honda. So I think out of everyone, I'm the oldest in the rallycross. So I started doing rallycross. Actually, I stopped with the Honda. That's actually the last couple of events that I did with the Honda. And then I stopped for a while. Obviously doing main circuit GTI challenge at the same time. So it's a bit much at the time. So I stopped, and then I think just January, I think it was January 2021, I then got a call obviously from Dexter, and I drove his suits. And then I think I was busy building up another Polo at the same time, not my main challenge car. And I decided, okay, let's just try this. I did do the car, it didn't work for me. And obviously in the meantime I was doing a lot of different other events as well. So I was always after a real ride. I just didn't know that it was going to be an E36. So yeah, and now I'm back here at rallycross after a few years. Obviously with a group of friends now, that just makes it 10 times better. Yes. So I think it's kind of like a bonus now. In fact, I don't see myself doing it without these guys, because back then I was alone, solo alone, tow my car to the track. I set up everything, I do everything, but now you have all of this, and it's a cool journey.
Everyone comes together. No, that's awesome. And Mr. CJ, hey, how you doing over there?
Yeah.
You just came off the Gymkhana track yesterday, and here you are today. You can see you absolutely love your racing.
No, definitely. I'm new. I'm very new. After I drove with Dexter in the Subaru, I definitely wanted to do it, but I'll be honest with you, when I was watching the rallycross, I'm like, oh, this is a bit too hectic for me. I was afraid, just looking at it, because it kind of looks vicious, man. Yes. But once you get in a car, and you don't need to have a need for speed, but you love cars and you have a passion for cars and racing, then that just sold it to me. I was right over the edge. I was hesitant on the day, but when I drove with him in the Subaru, sold. But the form of rallycross, it's exhilarating because it's like drag racing, drifting and off-roading, like all squashed into one. So you get the best of everything. So if you're a junkie that want to go sideways, that's for you. If you're a junkie who wants to go fast, there's sections of the track for you. If you love off-roading, and if you love all three, like Emilia, you will just, fly on the day. It's super fun. I have the time of my life, and it's like we're a family now.
It's like
it's not just friends, it's a family. If you need something, if you want to know something, you pick up the phone, you send a WhatsApp or whatever, and we sort each other out wherever we can, within reason. You can't call me and say I need an E36. I will befriend you immediately. always wanted to do some form of racing, not on the road, but you know, legally. And this was the perfect thing because it's racing, but it's not racing. You know, there's no pressure, there's no trophies, there's no first and second, there's no I'm better than you. If you slow, you stay behind. If you fast, you go ahead. It's the best fun you'll have with all your clothes on, apparently.
No, that's awesome.
That's the best way of saying it, eh?
The thing is, like I always try and encourage a lot of people, you know, I think people's mentality of motorsport and going fast is completely wrong. You know, the excuse is always, I will never do that, I will never do it in my daily car, I will never. But driving on a track, it's so controlled, and there's so many different things or aspects in place to make sure that you are safe. I think the most common excuse people always say, oh no, I first need to do CVs, I first need to do ball joints, I must first do my brakes. You drive your car daily. There's so many people out there that do 200 on the street road, but they won't go do 120 on the track.
He ain't lying.
You know what I mean? So we need to change that mindset, and sometimes it's just you must just put your best foot forward and go do it.
That's a very interesting point because it's safer on the track than outside on the road. There's more
100%.
accidents happening on the road than on the track.
Absolutely.
And I think there was a F1 team principle that said that your chances of making an accident outside the track is much bigger than on the track.
Absolutely. You must know the gravel and the sand on the track. It's not just a normal gravel and sand. It's there. It's designed. It's put in place for a specific reason. It's there to stop you. So again, all I can say is just put your best foot forward and go do it. There's so many different divisions on Gymkhana, rallycross, track days. There's many different divisions you can just start.
Spinning that started now as well.
Even spinning.
It depends. It can be expensive and it don't have to be expensive. For me, I do on my car everything. Most of the things I do on my car, I do without using money first. We try different things, and the E36 is so versatile. So you know, we want to change the narrative of people. BMW is expensive because you can take another stock BMW, different class, and you can take off parts of that and put it on your car and make your car better. So the E36 is one of the best ways to start.
The best car in the world.
And also,
I'll disagree.
and also,
What a Honda.
Honda for life, bro. Honda for life.
My man.
he needs to get off here.
He needs to get off.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man.
Yeah, you see, so the 36 is a very, very good place to start. So look, yes, E36 is the main thing, but I mean, if one of them, for example, say Emil wants to buy a VW now.
VTEC.
You know, no, we can't speak about Hondas today, man. It's Sunday. No, you know what I'm saying. So
He knows what's the best one.
One is the best car.
Honda.
Thank you, and I thank you.
Okay, you're gonna get fired soon. Right?
Wait, don't say that. That's not true.
So I think that, you know, it's the best place to start, and you don't need a lot of money. And I think now is the best time because you know what's happening. People like us that's putting this out there saying how good these cars are. These cars are going to become super expensive soon. It's starting already. So if you want to get into racing and you're planning on doing it with a BMW, get up your ass
And buy Honda.
and buy
A E36.
a
A E36.
so that you can get this thing before it
Can we
comes
argue
to be.
here? Can we argue?
Go for it, go
Can we
for
argue?
it.
We're speaking about
So that's
rallycross. We're
It's not-
speaking
it's not
about rallycross
that cool, to be
now.
honest. You know what is cool? Going sideways. That is cool.
Come and tell you something about a Honda.
It's not
You see,
that
I don't
cool.
have the hair for a Honda. Look here. I don't have the hair for a Honda. Look at this man's here. GHD. Voorbij. Look at my specs on.
We can't exactly put an S2000 on the rallycross track now. So
Of course
We can.
I'm that guy. You know what I mean?
No, you can't.
The one
You
day,
can't. It's
myself and Rashay is doing Gymkhana, you will never forget this day. The Polo, bro. we got into my BMW and we did Gymkhana.
The E90.
The E90. So I will literally go drive with anything. Even my van if I have to. Because it's all about having fun, you know what I mean?
Guys, we need more people out there like Emil. But no, thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. It's awesome to hear your journey and the story behind Rallycross.
Cool, not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much,
Bye.
guys. So, guys, we're just here with Emil quickly. Gonna have a quick chat with him alone. I just wanted to hear a bit more about what influenced his racing journey after hearing that he actually was one of the first guys in Rallycross. So, Emil, tell us a bit about it. What led up to that decision, or what got you started with racing?
Well, initially, I was always, I think, destined to rally, to do stage rally. And as growing up as a youngster, I'm talking about primary school. I remember still telling my parents that one day I aspired to be a works driver for VW. It was mind blowing that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a paid driver for VW. As my father, you know, my father used to be a rally driver in the 90s. So my father used to rally a Mark II Escort. My father rallied the rear-wheel drive car, and that's what I aspired to do. And then in the 2000s, obviously, I then started building my own cars. And in 2013, I built myself a Honda Ballade, JD track, and I then did rallies. I did the All-Star Rally, I did Rallycross, I did Gymkhana in that car.
I remember that Honda.
Yeah,
you know, I'm
that
a
was
Honda
my
boy myself.
pride and joy. That was my pride and joy. The car was epic, it did everything, and myself and that car was in sync. But you know, as time goes on, the body deteriorated. And at the same time, I was doing all of those events, and then I got the Polo. And I then started doing GTI Challenge. And that was probably the best journey ever. Close racing, everyone on the same amount of power, door to door, mirror tapping, sideways in a frontal drive, steering with the rear. It was epic. The only thing I didn't do was drags, because I'm not a straight line kind of guy. I feel that, you know, I want to test my abilities and progress from there. So obviously, which led me up to Rallycross now, and now I'm an E36. I'm not sorry, but the sideways action is epic. It's mad, especially going sideways with your friends. I mean, look at them. I guarantee you they're probably talking about sideways action. I guarantee you. So yeah, again, the only people, I think there's quite a few people I'd like to thank for my journey. My father, number one. He inspired me to get into racing, and always helps along my journey. No matter what is required, I can always depend on my father for, you know, getting my car there. And then obviously my I think my two sponsors, Body Pro and Crisp, always there. So yeah, that's my journey.
No, that's amazing.
Thank you very much for you for having us, and we obviously want you at the 16th. We want to put you in a car and we want to go sideways. I don't know if that was mentioned to you before.
It's been mentioned a couple of times. I'll be there.
So the 16th,
excited to see how things go.
Cool.
Thanks a lot, Emil. So everyone, we've got a surprise guest, Rishay Woodley over here. Rishay is from Cape Town. He's recently moved to Ireland and he has found himself in Cape Town for a few days, and I managed to get a bit of his time. Rishay, welcome to the channel.
Thank you so much. Thank you, National Motorsport Mzansi.
Now, I know you, me and you go quite some time back. This car has been into drags, it's been in all different forms of racing, the auto rally, and now you recently have found yourself competing mostly in rallycross.
Correct, yeah.
So why rallycross?
Yeah, so rallycross, I mean, it ticks nearly all the boxes with regards to what I want out of racing. So, I mean, racing for me is a hobby. It needs to be fun, it needs to be enjoyable, and it's a family sport. Rallycross it's a full day event for the entire family. My wife is involved, my parents are involved, my brothers, my in-laws, my nephews and niece. They all involved. So it's a nice day out. It's not a very expensive form of motorsport. You could come with literally any car. There's different classes that you could slot yourself into. You could even come there with a road car, and it's cheap. I mean, you don't need to have the best of the best to compete in rallycross. And I mean, the main thing about it all is the guys and girls are so friendly and welcoming, and that's what motorsport should be about. It's not about, obviously you're racing to win and you want to be competitive, but it's also about enjoying the sport that you love most. Yeah.
I've also seen all sorts of different cars. I've seen 6-cylinder BMs, 4-wheel drive Subarus, the little Volvo there, I'm saying little, that's behind you, turbocharged cars, and you come with a 4-cylinder naturally aspirated 318i. Why this car? Tell us about it.
So this car is actually built for the regional rally championships in the Western Cape in the late 80s, early 90s. So that was just before my time and literally when I set foot on this earth. So this was actually my dad's car. He used to rally this car in the early 90s up till about 96, 97. And it was built by the late Owen Ashley, who used to have a workshop in Killarney at the racetrack. And at the time of when it was built, it had a 4-cylinder in the car. It was a very high-powered, fully modified 520i engine, I think, or something like that, 518 or something like that. It was a very old motor, and when the motor eventually gave up in like the late 90s, my dad couldn't find parts for it, so it ended up standing, and we were going to go 6-cylinder, but the entire car is built for a 4-cylinder setup. So the entire drivetrain and the way the car is actually balanced out, it's built for a 4-cylinder setup. So it's got the full 5-link cantilever suspension at the back, that was built and designed by Owen Ashley. You'll be able to see it through the perspex at the back here. So for weight, and in order to have a balanced vehicle, it didn't make sense for us to go with a 6 or even a V8 in front.
Currently, as it is here, tell us a bit about the car, its whole setup, the tires you run, motor setup.
Yeah, so previously, like I mentioned, it had a modified M44 318 IS motor. Currently, it's got a standard M44 318 IS motor. It's running on 45 Webers side rafts. The plan was to go throttles. That's future plans with some head work done and some porting and gas flowing and stuff like that. Gearbox is a 6-speed E36 M3 gearbox, and it's got a M75 Toyota limited slip diff. Yeah, close ratio diff. It's running a 4.8 at the moment, so yeah, it's very close. The gear ratios make it nice and quickly off the line, and the diff ratio actually shoots you off the line quite nicely, especially for rallycross. So yeah, I mean, this engine's only making 97 kilowatts. When we had the modified setup in, it was probably around 130 kilowatts maybe. It was good enough for the car. It didn't need much more. But yeah, hopefully it'll get back there someday. It's got a hydraulic setup with a upright mounted e-brake or hydraulic handbrake. We initially had 2 calipers set up on the rear on the discs for independence for the foot brake and the handbrake. It didn't work as well, so it's pretty much in line now. It's just so nimble and so easy to control through the corners and over the jump. I mean, it's not nose diving, it's fairly balanced. You'll see a couple of pictures where the shocks are giving in and stuff, but I mean, it's an old car, so after being through rallying, drags, gymkhanas, all-star rallies, I just decided to give it a bash at rallycross and take on some of the 6-cylinders and the turbocharged boys. Yeah.
And yeah, you've put up a good fight. This car's placed first a couple of times. You've won quite a few rounds in this car, and it kicks the back out very nicely. You get it completely sideways.
Yeah, you've sat in here already.
Yes, no, I've gone sideways in this thing plenty times. It's a real joy for a 4-cylinder. It just shows it can be done. You can have fun in these little smaller motors with minimal power. I suppose also the driver, driver capabilities.
Nah.
Thank you so much for your time, Risha. We really appreciate it. It's good to have you back in Cape Town, and we hope to see you back and competing again soon. We'll see you on the international stages hopefully one day.
Thanks so much. Thanks to you and the team from National Motorsport Mzansi, and thanks for always looking out for the RX boys in Cape Town, the rallycross guys, and thanks for always being there to support and filming and always giving us the exposure that's needed in motorsport.
Anytime. Talking about that, is any message you have for your rallycross boys?
My rallycross boys, they naughty, man, that's the problem. And they just knock me all the time.
So they need to stop knocking
Yeah,
you.
they just knock me all the time. That's why I had to pack my stuff up and move to Dublin. So, yeah, look at the condition of my car. I don't even have a bumper. And Dexter knows I'm talking to him because he's the one who, that's why he even sold his car because we used to knock each other so much. No, but I'm joking. Yeah, they're a good group of guys. We have a good relationship. I'm actually off to go see them now. They're going to go work on their cars ahead of the upcoming events now before the end of the year. So, yeah. Cool, man. Thank you so much.
So I am here with Jody, Chad and John. These guys are new to Rallycross. Started recently and we want to find out a bit about their experience. So guys, you also went to the E36. It's E36 galore here. Before you tell us about the experience, why did you go with the E36? Please tell us.
I think, as I mentioned to my wife before as well, I've always wanted a rear-wheel drive car. So you can see, you know, the guys on the day, they're all drifting, etc., doing, you know, donuts, etc. I've always wanted to get into that, but then my buddy Dexter introduced me to all of this. He actually, you know, took me on a nice spin on the day, a passenger ride, and then I got to feel the car. Yeah, then I got to feel the car for real. Because I've driven with him with other cars before, but I mean the E36 is very loose at the back, so that's where I fell in love with the car. And actually it impressed me, the power as well actually impressed me, so yeah, I was quite impressed by the vehicle itself. So yeah, rear-wheel drive has always been something like, you know, you want to launch hard and you also want to drift, so that's quite cool. And the E36 is actually, you know, for me in the 90s, the M3, the 325s, the 328s, you know, the pure 6-cylinder sound. It's always sounding awesome, so you do minor modifications to it, like, you know, a nice stainless steel exhaust or something like that, just to get that pure sound coming out. So it's sort of nostalgic, you know, growing up with these cars and now owning one. That's quite cool. So yeah, that's why E36.
I also saw when you were driving here, all of you were smiling from ear to ear, so yeah. Explains why you guys went to the E36.
Yeah.
And as a new entrant into Rallycross, what's your experience like? Do you think it's an expensive sport, as most people think racing is expensive?
Look, I'm a massive car head, although this is my first time I'm going to be racing. But I think with any sport, you're going to have to, you know, fork out a bit of costs initially. So yeah, you obviously have to acquire the vehicle, which is costly. And then, you know, making the changes, it all depends what you want. So all I'm after as part of the first race is just really having the ability to have a reliable car that goes around the track really quickly. And when I say that, for me, I'm able to drive a car to its limit, if I can call it that, in a safe environment. I mean, you can't do this on the road, etc. So that's why I chose Rallycross, because you give the ability to take a so-called street car, bring it onto the track with minor changes, and then you have the ability to, in a safe environment, you know, drive really hard and really fast.
So all of you guys, three of you attend the track, the races together. Who does what?
I call them my pit crew, yeah. They're my right hand men. They now assisted me with putting in a new racing suspension in the car. So just some coilovers, and it was our first time working on a BMW. I mean, they're typically Nissan boys.
Oh, I see race ready. I know that's Nissan.
Yeah, race ready. Yeah. I mean, and we took our time because we all love cars. I mean, the entire family is into, you know, motorsports, etc. So yeah, I mean, it's quite nice to work together as a family and work on the car. And we just take our time. I mean, we got a whole bunch of guys that are, you know, great guys and help us out. I can call Ashik, I can call CJ, you know, and say, hey, I just need this assistance with this. Do you know anything quickly? And then yeah, we take it from there. And Google's our friend as well.
No,
and YouTube, yeah.
So, do you have any message for the people out there with regards to getting started?
Okay, just get the car. Obviously you want to, you know, initially you want to go around the track fast, but I think let go of that sort of mindset, get the vehicle, regardless of what condition is in, and start building on it. What I found is, this year, I mentioned to the guys as well, it's been a very stressful year, and I think it's been very stressful for many people. And especially, you know, coming out of a pandemic where, you know, you weren't able to socialize, etc. So having a group of, you know, great guys that you can share your love for motorsport with, which is quite nice. I also have found this as a stress reliever. So work is hectic, life is hectic, but this is sort of something that, you know, takes your mind off of all the busyness and stresses, and you know, you're focusing on getting the things right. So I'm working towards the 16th to get my vehicle in a sort of decent state that I can go reliably around the track, and these guys are helping me do that. So yeah,
big ups to you guys, and looking forward to see how you guys do on the 16th.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks so much for your time and coming around. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Right guys, we are with CJ, Mr. Beamer himself. CJ, tell us about your car in 60 seconds.
Yeah, okay. I've got a stock gearbox in here, 2-liter gearbox. At the moment I'm running a 444 diff, but that's only for gymkhanas. I've got a 3-liter double varnish motor with a stock ECU and setup. I've got an M50 intake in here, and everything else is basically stock, but you know, played around with suspension parts, etc, etc. Other than that, the car is basically stock, besides the engine now.
Awesome CJ. And interior wise, I know you've got the hydraulic handbrake.
Yeah, I've got the hydraulic handbrake. I'm testing it for the guys so that, you know, we can make a definitive choice if they want to do that. So I've got the e-brake in there, and that's also just about it, and a few buttons to make it look like an aeroplane.
Thank you so much, CJ. Right guys, I'm here with Chad and his E36. We're gonna do a quick tell me about your car in 60 seconds.
60 seconds. Because it's a stock engine, got an intake on, 3.46 diff, and then for suspension I've got red line coilovers, and then yeah, something that gives me extra 10 kilowatts is the color. And then the Rallycross sticker on the side of the
extra 10 kilowatts.
And my race numbers.
And interior wise,
basically stock.
Interior wise, anything changed?
Interior wise is stock. I'm planning to take out the rear seats and stuff like that just to make it a bit lighter for the day. Yeah.
And
running stock tires on it, stock 3 tires for now.
And you race with these M3 wheels on?
I'm going to.
Oh, bad news.
Whoa. Everybody's warned me not to, but I might change it before race day, so yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see you on the 16th.
See you on the 16th.
Thanks so much, Chad.
Cool. Cheers.